again, everybody. Welcome along once again, the first Extra Point podcast of what is soon to be the new NFL season. It's certainly the new NFL year in our world. I'm Darren Fletcher. Neil Reynolds is here. We have no idea whether Vernon Kay is going to stick an appearance in at some point during the podcast. But Neil, how are you? I've not spoken to you since the Super Bowl. You look great. You look like you're ready to go. How are you?
Thank you. Yeah, I'm good, Fletch. So I thought it was a quiet time in the NFL. I know there's been a couple of things as we record this in early June that have woken us from our slumber. But yeah, all good. Working through the, the laundry list of jobs that I hadn't done during the season. I thought I'd get them done by March or April. I'm still working on them now in June. But yeah, take a little holiday at the end of the month. And then when I get back, it'll be about a week after that. I'll head off to training camps. And then I feel like you really are getting going. So yeah, ready to... People, it's funny because it's so all-encompassing, the season. You probably have this with the football. So everyone is like, oh, it's great. Count down the Sundays. I'm like, whoa. Let me get a holiday in first. Let me just tan the old noggin, because this bald bit doesn't look good unless it's brown. So
Plenty of Factor 50 on there.
Oh, definitely. Got to get that done.
Yeah. Well, I'm off to... I fly to Dallas on Monday.
World Cup.
First World Cup game is in Toronto on Friday. And then we're there for what feels like a hell of a long time. So I'm going to be working for Fox in the USA. So I'm not going to be on TV here, but I'm going to be doing it over there alongside Owen Hargreaves. So I'm looking forward to it. We've got a couple of Argentina games, a couple of Portugal games, some Holland games. We go to Guadalajara to watch Mexico. We're in Toronto for the first game involving Canada. That's just in the group stage, and then we'll see ultimately where we go after that. But we're going to be based in Dallas for the whole of the group. So any little stories that break over there, we've got Dak Prescott watch. We're going to be right across it.
And if Jerry Jones is going to put the curtains up for FIFA, he won't do it for his own wide receivers. The curtains are going up to block the sun.
Is that right?
Yeah, he's putting them up.
Is that right? I didn't know that.
I've been joking for years about surely this multi-billion-dollar stadium, just sort it with a giant pair of curtains, and that's what he's doing.
That just shows you that FIFA is more powerful than Roger Goodell. Just shows you that where the power lies, that's it. Wow. Goodell thinks he's this all-encompassing God. FIFA go, close the curtains, Jera, and he says not a problem.
And it's done. I'm adopting it. In your research, can you tell me how I pronounce? Is it Curacao? How do you pronounce it?
Curacao, yeah, Curacao. Yeah,
I thought it was a cocktail.
Yeah. Who do you think's going to win it, by the way? I think Argentina will win it.
I think unless they implode, I think France. I think when you look at that squad, but they do implode sometimes, don't they?
You see, I don't want to get too football-centric here, but I've got issues with this French group. I think the two fullbacks are bang average. Teo Hernandez, who's playing in Saudi Arabia these days, and Luka Dean from Aston Villa.
Yeah.
I think the centre-backs are fine. I think central midfield is where there's an issue. Adrien Rabiot is about 93, is going to be one of them. And then you've got Chouameni in there who's fine. But Deschamps historically plays with three in midfield, but there is a feeling in this tournament he's going to play with only two because he wants to play with Elise as a 10, two wide players, and then Kylian through the middle. So I can just see against the better teams that he might have to change. And if he does change, then fine. Also concerns me as well in the temperatures over there.
Yeah.
If you're going to rely a lot on athleticism, you could be burned by the quarters and the semis. And I just look at a team like Spain. They keep the ball well.
Yep.
Argentina, used to the climate. You may get a surprise team, a team going a bit deeper than you thought, just based on conditions. I was in LA last summer and I watched Botafogo against Atletico Madrid. There wasn't a player in the Botafogo team that would have made the starting lineup for Atletico Madrid.
Right.
But in the Rose Bowl early afternoon when it kicked off, it was just a leveler, and they look equal. So I think there's going to be parity based on how people handle the conditions. Absolutely. So I think there's a lot of other factors in this World Cup. But I mean, look, I sat in a room last week with Martin Keown, Owen Hargreaves, Ali McCoist, Julien Laurens, and all four of them told me France were going to win the World Cup. I was the outlier saying Argentina. I think there's one or two nations, though, that are interesting, Neil. I think the Dutch, in terms of the defence and the midfield, is really strong, whether they can score enough goals. Portugal look like they've got the best squad, but can they score enough goals? The French, a lot of games. Will the style suit? The Spanish, do they score enough? Argentina, can get the lightning in a bottle again? Can Leo turn it on? I mean, it's fascinating. It really is. I mean, I just, from an England perspective, we just keep the fingers crossed and
That's
hope
it.
for the
This
best. Tommy
big
T
day.
will do what he does.
Big day in the Reynolds household because so Georgia's back from the NFL Academy. My son, who coaches there, he's flying off tomorrow to Michigan to take some of his players on college football tryouts. So we've only got this day today. So this afternoon, as soon as we finish recording this, we're off to buy the wall chart. It's like buying a piece of furniture. It's got to be good.
I've got one here somewhere.
Have you got one? You got it.
You get the World Soccer magazine. That's the Bible.
That's the one.
The World Soccer, and you get the wall chart with it separate. So you get
Perfect.
Two things. You get the World Soccer. You'll know everything about everybody. They do a great publication, and then
Perfect.
you get the wall chart in the wrapper. Right, let's get on with this. We're gonna launch our elite sports travel trip during the course of the episode.
Yeah,
it's in September. I'm going to tell you all about it a little bit later on, but there's a couple of massive NFL issues that we've got to deal with first. Starting off with the trade. It forever will just be known as the trade. Myles Garrett from the Cleveland Browns to the Los Angeles Rams, who have already traded for Trent McDuffie. So that defense has had a massive overhaul. Jared Verse and picks go the other way. Do you know what, Neil? I love it from a Rams perspective, but I don't dislike it either from a Cleveland perspective because they've got to get young. They're not ready to win, but they're getting younger and they're drafting well, and they've got a really good impact player in Jared Verse. But let's deal with it from a Rams perspective first. Are they now overwhelming favourites to win the Super Bowl?
So I agree with you, and we can get onto the Browns side. A win for both teams. That's the best kind of trade. I think the Rams are the favourites for the Super Bowl. When you think about where they were last year against Seattle, that NFC Championship game could have gone either way, and I think whoever won that was going to beat the Patriots. That was the clear. It's a bit like when we used to watch the 49ers and the Cowboys in the early 90s. That team was going to win the Super Bowl, whoever won the championship. I think this is such an exciting move. They already have Byron Young. They've got a good Kobe Turner. They've got a good line. They've got the MVP quarterback. They've got everything. What you need is a closer. And you've got a closer on offense in Matthew Stafford who can drive down the field, produce a touchdown to win the game. Now you've got one who can shut things out on defense. Myles Garrett's 30. I think he played elite level for another 4 or 5 years. Absolutely. And the Rams don't mind giving up draft picks, as we've seen. They did it with a quarterback this year. They selected a quarterback in the first round, Ty Simpson. So, from the Rams, I think they're ahead of Seattle now. Bit of an arms race going on between those two teams. The 49ers are almost becoming forgotten, and they were a playoff team in the West. But the Rams are the best team in football. They just got to put it all together and produce now on Sunday.
There is also a kind of a growing momentum that Aaron Donald might strap them back on again as well. I mean, he's been asked about it this week, and he didn't turn it down. And in fact, he went the other way and said, look, it's kind of ruminating around my mind at the moment. Aaron Donald was playing at an all-pro level when he quit. He's had 2 years out. There's no reason why Aaron Donald won't come back and be Aaron Donald. And Aaron Donald doesn't have to play every down on defense now because of the depth you've spoken about on that Rams defensive line. So not only do they get Myles Garrett and Trent McDuffie, they might also get Aaron Donald back as well. What are you hearing? What do you think? What's your gut telling you about Aaron Donald coming back?
I think it's going to happen. I think it might not be until late in training camp. He doesn't need training camp. Like you just kind of alluded to, he might only play on third downs. You know, he might be part of a rotation. But if you've got Myles Garrett coming off the edge, the best defender in the NFL today, one of the best defenders in the NFL for the last 30, 40 years, and inside is one of the best defenders for, one of the last 30 or 40 years in Aaron Donald. Like you said, he kept himself in shape. I think he wouldn't want to go through that whole kind of training camp procedures. I did a little event with Osi Umenyiora earlier this week at the NFL. And Osi said to me, he went, I love defense, but even I wouldn't want to watch that every week. He said they're just going to destroy offenses. I mean, I think it would be. For Aaron Donald, he won one, and this is the kind of easiest way for him to go again. He hasn't got to get in there in the off season. He hasn't got to do it all by himself. I mean, you can see why that became an obvious kind of link, and it's a really exciting, as a neutral, it's really exciting that potential.
Yeah, I've got to say, The NFL is great. Trades always used to be the domain of the NBA, but they've made it so difficult now to make trades that it doesn't happen. And there's nothing like a big NFL trade, and we're starting to see more and more and more of them because of the way the league is structured. I mean, they're very good, aren't they, the NFL? It's realizing what the fan base want and how they can make this season last for 12 months. It never really slackens off. You go straight from the Super Bowl into draft season. You're starting to get trades, then you get training camp, and you start to get hard knocks, and the season starts. They are the absolute masters, and you've got to doff your cap that they are able to keep the interest in the league right the way through. I mean, also looking at this from a Rams standpoint, when you said he was 30, I didn't realize he was still that young. So he's got Defensive Player of the Year awards in him moving forward. I just wonder, and this was I listened to a podcast that this is not my thought. I wasn't bright enough to think it, but he broke the sack record this year with a team that was always behind in the fourth quarter.
That's it.
He's going to be, as you say, the closer. So they're going to have leads. So teams are going to be passing on the Rams in the fourth quarter. How many sacks could he potentially get? A peak Myles Garrett in this Rams team that's going to be ahead and teams are trying to get points. I mean, he could blow the sack record that he's just set. He could blow it apart.
You've got to catch lightning in a bottle and have that kind of season that he had last year. But let's say he has that sort of level, snap to snap. He's as dominant against offensive linemen as he was this past year. When teams are leading against the Browns and running the football and eating up the clock, I honestly, when you started to say that, I thought 30 sacks.
Yeah.
I think he could have 30 sacks if he captures the exact same sort of form in the right situation, now better situation. I think he could take that sack mark of 23 and stretch it over the hills. Absolutely.
I mean, there's a situation here. If Donald, for argument's sake, did come back, you've got one of the most disruptive defensive tackles who's going to get to the quarterback. You've also got a really good player on the other end of the line. So as in Cleveland, where you could kind of focus on Garrett and he's still got the sack record.
Yeah.
Can't really do that here because there's so many other options in terms of players who can get to the quarterback in a Rams helmet. So it's very difficult then to game plan just for Garrett based on everybody else that's there, which is going to give him a lot more freedom to do his thing.
Yeah, now you just made me drive the numbers down because if Aaron Donald is in the middle, it's hard to beat Aaron Donald coming off the edge when he's only got to go a straight line to the quarterback. So Aaron Donald's going to eat 10 of those sacks.
Well, there you go. There you go. I mean, in reality, what is the single season sack record still the Bears? 84?
Yes,
85?
84, 85, 84, isn't it? It was the year before
the season before the Super Bowl.
That's
they set the sack record, didn't they? Yeah. That's still the record. I mean, that's how long it's been.
Yeah, they could definitely break that.
And by the way, the personnel on that Bears defensive line was elite as a four. But they've got 6 or 7 that they can rotate in and out in Los Angeles now, which makes it unstoppable, really. I mean, you're never going to be tired, are you, if you're on that defensive line because you're just going to rotate in and out.
It's a great situation for the Rams. They are bold when it comes to giving up draft picks, and I think they're going to be rewarded for it. Yeah.
Neil, why is it? I want to get on to AJ Brown to the Patriots because we're not going to do a massive long one here. Why is it that Les Snead, the general manager of the Rams, always seems to be ahead of everybody else? So there's a bunch of teams that would have wanted Trent McDuffie. There's a bunch of teams that would have wanted Myles Garrett. There's a bunch of teams that would have wanted Devontae Adams. I mean, they're just so good, aren't they, at being ahead of the curve, having what they need to give the other team to get the player that they want, being prepared to do it. But they seem to set the standard in terms of being aggressive, but also ultra prepared, that when the moment comes and the deal's there to be done, they're ready to do it. Why is he better at this than anybody else?
The first thing I think of is that they don't value draft picks and tradition as much as maybe some other general managers do. They just work on an opportunity to opportunity basis, as you just saw. So, they invested in Jared Verse. Jared Verse has to be a pawn in the deal. He's heading to Cleveland, Rookie of the Year a couple of years ago, 2-time Pro Bowler. They say, okay, we won on that lottery ticket in the draft. We got him, but he's now we're not tied to him if it means we can get better. So I think ultimate thing is flexibility. I think flexibility, not afraid to buck the trend, because your trend is over the years has been collect as many draft picks as you can, build it, but it's changed. It has changed, and they're leading the way. You know, how many years was it? 7, 8 years where they didn't have a first round draft pick after Jared Goff.
The one thing that I think does go against conventional wisdom, though, you have to draft well. People kind of look at this and go, well, they don't value the draft then because they're always trading. No, they get Kyron Williams in the 4th round. They get Puka Nakua, I think, in the 3rd round. So they hit on Jared Verse. So they draft really well. But they've then got depth where they can trade pieces because they're drafting well. And they've not got to hit on 1st round picks because they're hitting on 2nd round picks, 3rd round picks, 4th round picks. They've got a lot of depth on the roster, haven't they? From which they can work to put these packages together.
Yeah, I think that's the thing is depth. You got to draft efficiently, like you say. You got to hit more percentages. And you know, I know you said about touching on it with the Browns. I mean, that's what the Browns are doing at the moment is collecting draft picks. And to me, well, we just said it. Myles Garrett had 23 sacks last year, historic, and the Browns still won 5 games. Yeah. So they're not ready to compete for another 2 or 3 years. Then Myles Garrett's 33. You know, so I think the good thing for the Browns is they got Jared Verse in that. I'm not sure how Jared Verse felt when he woke up a Ram and went to bed a Brown. Well, I know how he felt.
I don't think he slept well that night. I think he would have stayed awake. I think he would have had images of all these wonderful places in Los Angeles running through his mind. It's a cold old place to play in the middle of winter, Cleveland, especially when you're, I don't know, 2-8 at that point.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. The other big one was A.J. Brown. I mean, everybody knew that he was going to go. It was just a case of when he was going to go. He goes to New England. He's reunited with Mike Vrabel, his head coach in Tennessee. Drake May, who is one of the best pocket quarterbacks in the league, gets the wide receiver that he didn't have last year. This looks like a big win for New England, but I think in a really competitive NFC East, even though they drafted Mekhi Lemon in the 1st round, the Eagles, I think this is a kick in the teeth for them and a real incentive now for Dallas and for Washington and to a lesser extent New York. I mean, this looks like a big win for New England, who needed to do something based on the fact that DJ Moore went to go and join Josh Allen in Buffalo.
Yeah, I think this move makes total sense from the Patriots' point of view. I don't think A.J. Brown is finished. I think he's, off the top of my head, 29. He's got, again, another 5 years to play at that 1,000-yard a season level. I think he's going to stretch the field better than Stephon Diggs did. Diggs kind of faded away, didn't he, back end of last season? So Drake May didn't have that field stretching presence. You know, you're only going to get so much out of Mac Hollins and the likes of those sort of players. So I think that worked. I hadn't really thought. It's good when we kind of chat like this and go back and forth because I hadn't really thought about it from an Eagles point of view, other than, well, he's been a headache for them. They at least have got that headache out the building. You'd rather it not be a headache in the first place at all. You'd rather, and you see this, I'm sure, all the time in the football, you'd rather manage the player and the ego and keep them. So ultimately, this is a loss for the Eagles because it's a 1,000-yard receiver. You can say, oh, well, he used to read his book on the sideline and complain about not getting the ball. I think this comes back to deeper. He had a distrust of Jalen Hurts. This is a big season for Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, it is. And I also think as well, from an Eagles perspective, yes, you draft Mekhi Lemon. But we don't know how Mekhi Lemon is going to translate from a USC receiver in college to an NFL receiver as a Philadelphia Eagle. And as good as Devontae Smith is, he's not A.J. Brown. That intimidation factor's gone on one side of the field. So I think I think it opens the door. If Dallas can stay healthy, I think they've got a real chance now in that division. If they keep everybody healthy based on what they've been able to do themselves over the offseason. And you would suspect that Jaden Daniels and Terry McLaurin, I saw this mad stat today. They played together last season for 5 days. Only 5 days, not 5 games, 5 days.
Wow.
So if you put McLaurin back with Jaden Daniels, based on the offseason that Washington have had, that all of a sudden looks a much more competitive division. It was the Eagles' domain last year and the year before, but that looks like there's other teams that are going to knock on the door and say, look, we're ready to win this division now.
100%. If you look at Washington the year before last, they had that Jaden Daniels magic. Can they recapture that? They've made some additions on defense. Dallas only had to get their defense, which was worst in the NFL, up to that kind of middle level. I think they've certainly improved that side. I go back to that kind of three. It's ironic because they then fell away, but there was a 3 or 4 week stretch which culminated. I was in Dallas on Thanksgiving and they beat the Chiefs and they looked red hot. George Pickens was flying, CeeDee Lamb, you got Javonte Williams in the backfield, Dak's looking at an MVP level. So the offense can do it. So I think, and how uninspired did we become with Philadelphia at the back end of last year? So there's a lot of questions about this Eagles team. And I think the NFC East is now wide open because I think the Giants are going to be better with John Harbaugh, Jackson Dart back, Scatterboo back. There's a chance for this division to kind of really close up on itself.
Yeah, I think last year the Giants were the team you wanted to play, and the year before because they were weak, so there was 2 wins in the division that you were pretty confident of getting. But I think they're going to take wins off teams in that division now, which adds another intangible. They've also got OBJ back in the building. Juju Smith-Schuster in the building. I mean, Malik Neighbors is going to be healthy. Jackson Dart into year 2. Scatterbo, as you mentioned. So there's been a lot of work. There's been a lot of work in there. Yeah. They've also retooled that defensive line as well. They've got another edge rusher to go with Abdul Carter. They're probably going to trade Thibodeau, the top 5 pick from a few years back. So they've done a lot. But I think because it's such a big media market, everybody's going to be looking at Odell Beckham Jr. and what he does when he gets back in the building.
Yeah, Joe Shane woke up and thought it was 2014 when he re-signed all those receivers. They added Braxton Berrios on the same day as well. I think he was just going for Instagram followers because
Braxton's got a new contract out of it, so they must think he's done a good job.
Yeah, no, I think he's an interesting one. You want Odell to be like your third receiver. Your third receiver, a high level number 3. The key is getting Malik Neighbors back healthy. That seems to have taken a while. I think that will happen. I think he'll be there for opening day. But yeah, it feels I'm intrigued by it. Odell, that's where it all started for him, wasn't it? In New York, it's where it all started. It's where he exploded. It's where it all went wrong. He told me once it was a blessing and a curse, that catch that he made in New York, because it was just couldn't escape the limelight. I don't know how much he's got left. I know he's a very mature player now, good locker room guy, will be good for those Giants. And John Harbaugh knows him. Harbaugh wants a few people that can help deliver that message, and that's kind of classic. Coach comes into new team, brings somebody that he knows with him. But it's just the production hasn't been there for 4 or 5 years now. So, I think all those players, while they're name players, they're kind of secondary pieces around Malik Neighbors.
Do you know what? When you kind of make your assessment at the start of a year, I've always been one that I look at the coach-quarterback combination. Because if you go through history, the teams that win Super Bowls and the teams that stay dominant for years have got a really good head coach paired with a really good quarterback. The most recent example being Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes, Belichick and Brady for a long time. Go back earlier, kind of Bill Walsh and Joe Montana, Walsh, these guys.
Yeah.
It's always been there. If I look at that division now, the team that are going to be the favourite to win the division still are going to be Philadelphia. But I think you can make a case they've got the weakest coach-quarterback combination in that division. Nick Sirianni and Jalen Hurts. I'd take Dan Quinn and Jaden Daniels in Washington. I like Prescott a lot more than I like Hurts. I'm not too sure about Brian Schottenheimer, but there you go. And then you look at Harbaugh and the potential of Jackson Dart. So I think there's a lot of reasons why those teams, the 3 that didn't win it last year, go into the room and say, look, this could be the year that the power definitely slips. Definitely slips.
Definitely a team. It's definitely a division where you have to account for every team.
Yeah.
And maybe it only accounts for the Giants to win 8 games. They go 8 and 9, but they're going to be a different proposition from the team that's won 4 or 5.
They're in the playoff chase until about week 16. If they're going to go 8 and 9, they're going to be right there, aren't they? So you've got 4 teams potentially going for a playoff spot from that division.
Yeah, and you're going to upset someone else in that division by taking a couple of key games off them.
I tell you what I did notice, what I have noticed, the narrative has completely changed now about Caleb Williams in Chicago. The narrative now seems to be, is this the year that he becomes the best quarterback in the league? Right. And I remember after year 1, it was, Jaden Daniels was better than him, Drake May's better than him. He's never going to make it work in Chicago. It's the worst place he could go. He gets a year with Ben Johnson, pulls off some miracle throws. He's now on the cover of Madden. and it's one of the iconic Madden cover shots as well. It's the jump pass.
Yeah.
And now all the narrative is he can win the MVP. Is this the year that he becomes the best player in the league? I mean, the narrative around him has completely changed. I think it's fascinating now how he handles it, because I've always thought he's a natural born superstar. So I think the brighter the lights, the better he's going to get. So I think everything that's being said for some players in the league would be a negative. From his perspective, I think it's juice. I think it's going to be fascinating watching him with the schedule they've got. They've got a tough schedule. They play a lot of good teams. Toughest schedule in the league. But I think he could be special this year. Do you?
I agree. Yeah, I think he is special. I think he's built for that limelight, that spotlight. He's very good at handling it. You know, he speaks to me. I spoke to him about that, where he likes to, you know, he's very good at getting away from that and just, he said, I'll put my hood up, dark glasses on and walk my dog, and I can walk along the lakes and, you know, no one notices me. So he likes that part where he can get away from it. But look, I think it's really weird that we do this in the media. We kind of quick to jump on players, and none of that, very little of that was his fault. Matt Eberflus was the most uninspiring head coach I've ever interviewed, and I didn't have to play for him, right? And then he had no offensive line. They give him a good coach, a very good coach, good play caller, beef up the offensive line, and already we're now talking about this year, he can take that step to an MVP level, and I think it's justified. Also, you will realise now, after that first game he played in the NFL, or second game, when CJ Stroud, of all people, was trying to give him career advice, Caleb was having none of it.
Yeah. I tell you what, based on the conversation we've had today, it's been very NFC-centric.
Yes.
The conference is loaded. When you think about, if you rolled it back 5 years, it's hard to make a case for many NFC teams to win a Super Bowl because the AFC was loaded. But you look at it now, you can go. I think you can put 5 or 6 or 7 teams that you could say legitimately could win a Super Bowl, and that includes with everything the Rams have done and the fact that Seattle are the defending champions. So I think there's a lot of teams in that conference. It's going to be great. Really, really good.
I feel like that's, again, very, very strong. I go over to the AFC. Again, I'll put 4 or 5 teams in there, but every one of them I'd have a bigger question mark about. Yeah. I'd have a bigger question mark about Buffalo than I would about Chicago, a bigger question mark about Baltimore than I would about Seattle or the Rams. So
tell you what move I do like, Neil. I love the Jalen Waddle to Denver. I really like that, because I think they've got a quarterback in Bo Nix that needs a lot of help. I think if you give him help, he's a very good starter. But I think he's only as good as the receiving core around him. He's not a force multiplier like a Caleb Williams, who you could put him with anybody and he'll make a play. I think Nix needs good receivers, and to add him to Cortland Sutton and the rest, I think Waddle's a great move.
Yeah, and a team that was, when you think about it, like if they hadn't lost Knicks in the divisional round and they play with Jarrett Stidham, then maybe they were in the Super Bowl, probably were in the Super Bowl. So, yeah, Sean Payton's been there. Again, you put him in that Harbaugh, McVay, coaches you trust kind of thing. Look, I think we've just established it's going to be wide open again, isn't it? 20 seasons now. I've just done a bit of research the other day for something I was writing. Past 20 seasons, 13 different teams have won the Super Bowl. So this is going to be no different. I think it's going to just be wide open, lots of ups and downs, and whoever's still standing at the end, yeah.
And we will do a big preview edition of this podcast just before the season starts, and everything will be on the line. But we've got to tell you about the trip. We had such a fantastic time last year. Ali McCoist is coming again, so that just added another layer to it. So Neil, myself, Vernon, and Ali. It's all arranged. We fly out to Los Angeles on the 20th of September. So you've not got weeks and weeks to wait once the season starts. We're going to fly to Los Angeles. We're going to watch the Rams against the Giants, which I think looks a fascinating game. So you get to see Myles Garrett. You might get to see Aaron Donald. You're going to get to see the new boys in New York as well. OBJ back in a Giants helmet, which is going to be fascinating. So this is all in SoFi. We're then going to go the next night and watch the Dodgers against the Padres in Dodger Stadium. So you get the chance to see Shohei Ohtani and the world champion Los Angeles Dodgers, who may well win the World Series again. They're certainly the best team in baseball, and it's a big rivalry game against the Padres in that division. On the Wednesday, we fly to Green Bay, which is going to be sensational because on Thursday Night Football, the Packers play the Atlanta Falcons. So you get to see Green Bay in Lambeau Field, which is just an unbelievable experience. If you've not done that before, it's the hottest ticket, the hardest ticket to get in the NFL. We're going to take you there. And not only do you get to see the Green Bay players in Lambeau, you get to see some superstars as well on that Falcons roster, Drake May, etc., Drake London, etc. So that's going to be great. There's the opportunity to do one or two bits and bobs on the Wednesday, but a night out in Green Bay before the game is exceptional too, because the whole town comes out. I mean, all there is in Green Bay is cheese and the Packers. So if there's a Packer game on the Thursday, Green Bay's lively, I can tell you, on the Wednesday, and that party kind of continues all the way into Thursday, right until the kickoff. Yeah, so I mean, I think Ben and the team have put together a fantastic trip again, Neil. I can't wait. I'm looking forward to it. You're certainly going to be in Green Bay. You're not missing that. You'll be in Green Bay.
No, I think I'll be in the Green Bay leg of it. Yeah, so I'll be joining because obviously a couple of bits of Sky duties either end. But I'll be there for Thursday Night Football. Lambeau's my favourite stadium in all of the NFL. I think it's important as well. Like you listed those teams and the sport. What elite sports do so well is add in other sports. On my trip last year, we went to the NBA game. Here you've got the baseball. And I think Elite was saying, Fletcher, clients, when they talk to them, can add stuff before and after, which so they can kind of model.
Additional games on, if that's what they want to do. If you play golf, there's Whistling Straits where they have the Ryder Cup. There's no doubt that me and Coisty will be on that golf course. On the Thursday, absolutely no doubt whatsoever, and Vernon will be on there as well. There's no doubt we'll be on there. So, if you want to come on a game of golf, bring your A game, by the way, because that's a tough track, Whistling Straits. But especially if it's blowing, but we'll be there, so you can do all other bits and bobs. But it's just that whole. What you're going to get to see is the Super Bowl favourite on the Monday night.
Yeah.
The Giants, one of the highest profile teams in the league, as the opposition, and then the most iconic stadium in the NFL, one of the most iconic stadiums in the world for any sport. You will be inside Lambeau Field to watch Green Bay. Under the lights as well. It's always a bit better under the lights. I've been to day games there, but it's different when the lights are on, Neil.
Oh, I did a Monday Night Football game there. Randy Moss's rookie year. Monday Night Football. Randy Moss caught passes for about 200 odd yards. He was sensational, but it hits different. Night game, Lambeau Field. We will do our best to tell some good stories and give you an insight into our careers covering sports. But let's face it, it's going to be Ali McCoist holding court again, isn't it?
You'd like to think so. I don't think he knows any other way. Our national treasure. So he's going to be having it live. Rams fan as well. So he will demolish the club shop in SoFi. He still wears his Rams hat that he bought on last year's trip everywhere he goes. So Coisty's going to be there. Yeah, Vernon's going to be there. If you want to be there with us, give Ben and the team a shout at Elite Sports Travel. You can tailor the trip to pretty much suit what you want to do. The only two guarantees I'll give you, the only two things I can promise you, and you can hold me accountable for this. The two things I can promise you: one, we will look after you, and two, we will do our very, 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 very best to make sure that you have a wonderful time. And anybody that came last year. I think they're still laughing now based on some of the escapades that ended up going on the last trip. So, look, if you want to come, we'd love to have you. We can't wait. We're excited. Yeah. As soon as the schedule came out, Ben's on the phone. Right, where are we going to go? Where are we going to go? And we're all looking. If we go there, we can watch. So everybody's put it together, and I think we've come up with an absolute belter. So, I can't wait. I can't wait.
No. It is a cracking one. It really is. And we enjoy, and I think this is important for people who are looking. You come with your family. Don't be afraid to come on your own. No one's ever on their own on these trips. It is a wonderful atmosphere. The group look after each other. Everyone's got a shared passion in the NFL. So if you're kind of on the fence thinking, I don't know anyone, it doesn't matter. You'll know everyone by the time you leave.
You know what? I was just about to say that because our WhatsApp groups from all the years we've done it, they're all still active now, and everybody's having. So I don't think last year's WhatsApp group has ever stopped. It's never stopped. It's constant all the time. We all met some great people. We all came back with more friends than we left with, and that's kind of the significant the significant thing. And I echo your point. If you are on your own and you want to come on your own, it's not a problem because it becomes a family when we're there. We're always together. Nobody's left on their own. Everybody's looked after. And I can guarantee it'll take you about 25 minutes to feel like you've known everybody for your whole life. It's that kind of thing, isn't it? Because everybody just gels straight away. It's brilliant. Yeah.
It really is. And as soon as we're done, I'm starting a countdown clock on my phone.
So September the 20th we go. Monday Night Football is the game you're going to start with. So try and join us. We want to see as many of you there as we possibly can. Any other business before we go? You've got a busy afternoon.
No, that's it. Off to buy my wall chart, you know.
Top man. Go and get the wall chart.
Enjoy the World Cup, Fletch.
I will. I'll try my best. Enjoy your training camp trip when you get over there. We will speak very, very soon. If you want to join us on the trip, hit Ben up and the team, Elite Sports Travel. This has been the Extra Point podcast. I'm Darren Fletcher. He's Neil Reynolds. Vernon Kay's back for the next one, and we'll speak to you soon.